I made this necklace and earrings with roses and UV resin in under 10 minutes. Let me show you how you can do it too. The first step is to prepare your resin tape. I have one long strip at the center and the sticky side is facing up. I have two small strips on the sides and the sticky side is facing down to hold that long strip down onto the table. The long strip has the sticky side up so that you can put your open frames on the tape and it'll stick to the tape and hold the frames in place. The next step is to take your open frames and put them onto the long strip of the tape. The tape is going to act like a backing to your frame, so make sure to press them down firmly. Now get your UV resin and pour your first layer. You just want a thin layer, so about a pea-sized drop in each frame. I'm using Counterculture DIY UV resin. Now spread out that layer of resin so that it's all around the back of the frame. That's gonna cure and set as your first layer. So it's gonna be the back of the earring. And I'm using a popsicle stick. I got a little lazy. That was the first thing around me. I recommend using a skewer or a toothpick instead. It's a lot easier. I'm taking my lighter and popping the bubbles in my resin. If you see any bubbles around the frame, you can always get a skewer and bring them to the center so the lighter can pop them too. I'm placing my UV lamp over my frames to cure that layer. It's a thin layer, so it's only a 1 minute cure time. If you have a thicker layer, it may take a few minutes. You'll know that your layer is ready when it's not tacky or sticky anymore. It should be pretty hard. I'm preparing my roses to fit into the frames. Sometimes the frames are so small with earrings and necklaces that you have to cut the flowers to size. So I'm just trimming the stems off the rose and making sure that they can fit in the frames. I'm pouring my second layer of resin, and this is going to be the same process as the first layer pretty much. I'm pouring into the frame and then spreading out the resin with a skewer. Then I'm gonna pop the bubbles with a lighter and place my roses inside the frame. Now I'm gonna let that cure under my UV light for 1 minute. Now I'm pouring my next layer of resin, and this is gonna go directly on top of the flowers. I'm taking my skewer and evening out that layer of resin. Sometimes with the layer that goes on top of the flower, bubbles get trapped in the flower or on the petals. You can always use your skewer and move the bubbles around, coax them out of anywhere they're trapped, and then get them with the lighter. I decided last minute to also make a pair of dangle earrings. Sorry it's a little bit out of the frame. I'm just putting a dab of resin on the top bezel and then putting a rhinestone on top of that. I'm gonna cure all these frames under my lamp all together, and that dab of resin is gonna cure and act as glue for that rhinestone. I'm pouring my last layer of resin for those top frames. I'm pouring enough so that it has a domed look, and also so that it's covering that top part of the metal frame. Now I'm gonna run my lighter over the resin and pop those bubbles. I'm also gonna pour a little bit of resin into the dangle earring, the bottom bezels, and then run the lighter over it to pop those bubbles. I'm adding in some red rose petals into the frames. And now I'm adding bits of gold glitter around the petals. I'm pouring a little bit more resin into my frames and then adding a little bit of glitter to top it off. Then I'll pop the bubbles and then place all my frames under the UV lamp for several minutes since this is my last layer. Usually for the last layer, you do want to leave it under the lamp for more than a minute or two, maybe up to 5 minutes if you have to, just to make sure everything is rock solid. All my jewelry's cured and everything's finished. This is what the dangle earrings look like. If your jewelry feels sticky and it's not smooth, just cure it for a little bit longer. It's probably not fully cured. When it is fully cured, it'll feel smooth like glass. Now I'm removing the open frames from the tape. It should come off very easily, and if the back of your frame isn't shiny, you can always do a top coat on the back. But this is how it looks like. I think they're so cute in the hearts and the diamonds. I really love them. And then in this last heart frame, I over poured a little. You can see that it went over the edge. That's actually a really easy thing to fix, so I'll show you how to do that. You're gonna need an X-Acto knife or a blade. Use your blade and run it along the edge of the frame to cleanly trim that resin off, and you'll be able to snap most of it off pretty nicely. You can also see on this right frame, I have a little bubble on top of the red rose. If that happens to you and you are able to notice it before you've poured the next layer on top of it, you can use your skewer and open the hole up and then pour resin into it and it will be invisible. Now I'm gonna add my hardware to my necklace. I'm just adding on this little clip that the necklace comes with. It's really cool because it makes the frame face forward instead of to the side. I'm using my tweezers to open it up, and then I'll put the frame in the clasp and then close the clasp, and then I put the chain through it and it's all finished. This necklace actually turned out to be my favorite of the bunch. And now I'm gonna put the earring hardware on. It's very simple. I'm just placing the frames into the earring hoops and then closing the loops with my pliers. So this is what the heart earrings look like finished. And before you go, I'm just gonna show you what it looks like on me so you can see what it looks like on a person. And thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was fun. Let me know in the comments which one your favorite is. And I'll see you again in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful day.